Okay, welcome back on this beautiful Motzei Shabbos. We had already the honor of starting a new parak in Masechtas Gittin in the Daf Yomi, and now we start a new parak in Masechtas Yoma in the Mishna Yomis, and we are sponsored Lilui Nishmas Rabbi Yerachmiel Gershon ben Reb Tzvi Yehuda and Refu Shalem Vel Yoy Moshe ben Chayesara. We also learned sponsored by the Fisher family, Lila Nishmas Baski Bas Rabbi Shlomo ben Avram Alevi Perel Bas Ruvain, and by Yol Klugman and family for their Panasa Berevach L'Chavait. We also learned the Refu Shalema for Chaver Adaf Aaron ben Sarah. He should have a Refu Shalema B'Sek Shachel Yisrael. So we are walking in the footsteps of the Kohen Gadol. He's now ready to do the laning for Yom Kippur, and he is in his white garments, because you remember he was in the Kodesh Kodashim and he did the blood of the par and the soyer in the Kodesh Kodashim, so he's wearing his white garments. Baloi Kohen Gadol Likrais, the Kohen Gadol arrives at the Ezras Nashim, the woman's courtyard, to lane. Imratza Likrais B'Big Day Vutz, if he wants to lane in the big day kahuna of the avodah of the white linen garments, kairei. Bimloi, if he wants to take them off, he could wear his own private white shift. Kairei be'itztelis lavin mishalai. He could wear his own clothing of white, since he's not doing an avodah now. Now they take out the Sefer Torah. There was a shul in the temple courtyard. There was a shul near the temple courtyard, not in it, but near it, and the Chazan HaKnesses, the Shamish of that shul, takes a Torah, Noitel Sefer Torah, V'nois Noitel Reish HaKnesses, and hands it to the president of the shul. V'Reish HaKnesses, Nois Nolaskan, the president of the shul, gives it to the deputy Kohen Gadol. V'Askan Nois Nola Kohen Gadol, and the deputy Kohen Gadol gives it to the Kohen Gadol. The Gemara says that all of this was done to honor the Kohen Gadol, to show how many people he has under him. The Kohen Gadol Omeid and Mekabel, he stands and he accepts it. The Korei Omeid, and he lanes standing. The Korei Achrei Mois v'Achba Aser, he lanes the parsha of the Avodah in Achrei Mois in Vayikra, and also the parsha of Yom Kippur in Vayikra in Emor. And then he is going to lane also from Bamidbar about Yom Kippur, but that takes too long to be Geilel of the Sefer Torah. That would be Tercha de Sibura. They also don't want to take out a second Sefer Torah, even though on Chanukah, which is Shabbos and Rosh Chodesh, we take out 3 Sefer Torahs. That's because 3 different people get the brachas. But here, where only the Kohen Gadol gets the bracha, if we take out a second Sefer Torah, it might look like there was a mistake in the first Sefer Torah. So therefore, the Geilel Sefer Torah, they wrap up the Sefer Torah, or Manichai B'Cheika, he holds it by his chest and his bosom. And he says, don't think I didn't lane the next parsha because it's missing in this Sefer Torah. No. More than I laned is in this Sefer Torah. However, we're not going to take the Tircha B'Tzibura to roll it. So the story of Yom Kippur in Bamidbar, which is called Numbers, Kairei al Peh, that he lanes by heart. Then he makes 8 brachas. Ala Torah, he makes the bracha of Asher Nasan Lanu Torah Semes V'Chaya Olam Nata B'Sechenu Baruch Atah Hashem Noisen HaTorah. V'Ala Avodah, he makes the bracha of Baruch Atah Hashem She'oischa Levadcha B'Yira Na'avoid. V'Aloida, he makes the bracha Atov Shimcha L'cha Noel Lahoidos. V'Al Mechilas HaOven, which is made on Yom Kippur, Melech Moichel V'Saleach Lavanenu U'Lavainas Kol Amcha Beis Yisrael, right? V'Al HaMikdash B'fnei Atzma, he makes a bracha of Baruch Atah Hashem HaShoichein B'Tzion, who dwells in Tzion. V'Al Yisrael B'fnei Atzma, Baruch Atah Hashem HaBoicher B'Ama Yisrael B'Ava. V'Al HaKahanim B'fnei Atzma, Baruch Atah Hashem HaBoicher B'Zera Aaron. V'al Shara Tefillah, then he says a short tefillah, which the Rab brings down, Tchina Rina Bakosha Milfanecha, supplication, song, and petition before you. Sha'amcha Yisrael Tzrichan L'Yivasheach, your nation Yisrael needs all kinds of salvation. Baruch Atah Hashem Shemea Tefillah. Now, the next Mishnah, Mishnah Beis, tells us that simultaneous to the Kohen Gadol's laning, 4 people took out. Remember, the par and the soyer were braided, and they were taken out by 4 people on 2 poles to be burnt in the Beis HaSrifa. Now this happened simultaneously, and therefore, Haroya Kohen Gadol Kishu Kairei, if a person saw the Kohen Gadol laning, Ein Haroya Parvasar and Nisrafim. He couldn't be a witness to the burning of the bull and the he-goat. V'Haroya Parvasar and Nisrafim, and if he was a witness to the bull and the he-goat burning, Ein Haroya Kohen Gadol Kishu Kairei. He wasn't able to hear the Kohen Gadol laying. Not because he's not allowed to. They were far apart, and they're both done at the same time, and therefore it wasn't possible to see them both together. Rabbi Isai, we want to thank you very much for joining us. Remember, this week, Daf Yomi is at 8:50. Zoomdaf.com is the way to join our Daf Yomi family. Also, remember that I am putting the chayk of the week, which is, at least will be 3 of them. There is on YouTube as well as TorahAnytime.com. Check out the many, many different shiurim that are on YouTube. Most recently, I put a shiur that I gave in the Falls View up in the Catskills about davening, and I put up also a shiur that I gave in Shlach. It was the last shiur, I believe, before COVID, that I gave in Shlach in Rabbi Landau's shul, 17 years. I've been giving shiurim in Rabbi Landau's shul. I put that on YouTube as well. Many other interesting shiurim on YouTube. And if you would like to sponsor, we do not have a sponsor for this week's Chumash shiur, 718-916-3100. rmmwsi@aol.com. Thank you very much for joining us, and have a wonderful week.